Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today I wanted to welcome you to the second video in my new gardener series. Now, I will place a link up at the top for the playlist where I'm going to be storing all these videos. Now, these videos are intended for those people who have never started a garden before and who are looking to know where the starting place is. There's going to be around 52 videos. It's fluctuating here and there. And I'll put a link in the description of the topics I want to cover. And it's going to take us all the way through June and possibly even our first harvest. Now, I have gardened for about 30 years. I did 15 years in Southern California and 15 years here in Utah. Southern California was a zone 9 and Utah is zone 6/7, just depending on the year and the winter. And I'm hoping that there may even be some tips for expert gardeners out there. Now today the topic I want to cover is what can I grow? The last topic is why are you gardening? You need to understand why you're gardening so you can understand a little bit about what you might be able to grow. Now, this series is going to cover a lot of topics, and I'm going to cover all the different types of veggies in detail, one per video, a little bit later. But right now, I want you to think a little bit about yourself. Because what are gardens for? They're for you, really. And they're for the people you want to grow the food for. So what do you eat? Think about what you eat. Some of my favorite things are cabbage and kohlrabi. Now, I love cabbage, kohlrabi, and kale so much that I have some that I'm actually growing throughout the winter, even under the snow, in my little tiny hoop houses in the garden. I also love tomatoes and lettuce, which I can't grow as easily outdoors because it's too cold, so I grow them indoors and in my house. But those are just my preferences. You've got to think about what you and your family are going to eat, because if you are not going to enjoy what you grow, you're not going to want to continue gardening. So first of all, think about what you love. The second thing is do a little bit of research and find out what grows well in your climate and in your area. You can go and talk to local nurseries, you can go onto your extension website, or you can even talk to your neighbors who have gardens. There are also wonderful Facebook groups for just about every area in the United States and possibly even for other countries. So I'm going to put a link down below in the description for the Utah State University's Extension Agency, which is good for people who are living in Utah, and they have a list of some vegetables that grow really well here in Utah. Let me take you inside to my grow room and show you the seeds that I have and talk a little bit about what I like to grow. Now we're back in my grow room and I wanted to show you a little bit about what I grow. Now, definitely do not let this overwhelm you. As I've said, I've gardened for about 30 years, and when you're starting out, you really need to start small. I started with 2 tomato plants. That was my first garden, and then I worked up from there. If you start too large, it can get overwhelming. What you need to do is choose one of your favorite things that brings you joy. For a lot of people, that is tomatoes. Choose that vegetable, and then learn to grow that first, and then work your way up from there. You know, if you want to grow more, don't go overboard. Choose things that are a little bit easier to grow. And as I said, you can talk to your neighbors, talk to the nurseries, and find out what's easy to grow in your area. Now, let me show you my seed stash. One of the reasons I wanted to do this video first is because it is absolutely time to purchase your seeds. Seed companies lately in the last few years have run out of some of the best varieties, so right now is the time to purchase your seeds. I love seed companies, I love seed catalogs, and one of the things that I want to do is purchase all the seeds. And as you can see, I am well on my way to purchasing all the seeds. This is how I organize my seeds, and we're going to go over this and go over how to organize seeds a little bit later, but right now is the time to decide what you want to grow and purchase the seeds. We're going to get into how to grow them, how to plant them, when to plant them in later videos. So now I wanted to kind of go over an Excel spreadsheet that I made and I'm going to make available on my website. Now I put the link to my website below, and I'll put this in a blog, and I'll put this link in a blog post, and it's where you can download the spreadsheet. So my website is Waterwise Designers. I'm a landscape designer. So go to the blog tab and then look for the introduction to this web series, and you will find a link for the spreadsheet below. Now, it's not perfect. It's just It's just a document that I like to use. So don't look at all the mistakes and think, oh boy, she's not doing a great job. But it's just something that I use and I thought you might be interested in. There are some mistakes in there, and it is good for zones 6/7, maybe even zones 5. If you live in a different zone, you may need to change the dates, you may need to change the transplant times, just change up the information. And where you can find that information is on the back of your seed packets. Some seed companies do better than others with putting the information on the back, but I found that you can actually Google how to grow each type of seed if the seed packet doesn't have enough information. For example, I absolutely love Baker Creek for the varieties that they have, but the information on the back of the packets is just not that great. Snake River Seed Corporation is another company that I really love, and they have a bit more information on the back that's helpful for growing your seeds. The seed company that seems to have the best information that I really like is Johnny Seed and Harris Seeds. They have a lot of great information on their seed packets, but as I said, you can actually Google the best way to grow those seeds in your area. So let's go look at that spreadsheet, and I'll just kind of go over it a little bit. So first I'd like to show you where the download is on my website. So this is my website, www.waterwisedesigners.com. Navigate over to the blog. And then right here I have a new blog post introducing my new garden series. Click on that link, and then this right here is the document that I'm sharing, the Excel document. So you just click open down at the bottom of your screen and it should pop up. Okay, there it is right there. Let's see if I can get it to go, and then we'll just click enable editing. So this is a document that you can edit any way you want once you have it on your computer. And let me go over what I have on here, and I think I spelled irregular wrong. So definitely please ignore all the problems. This is not a perfect document. I just thought I would share with you what I have, without worrying about going through and making it perfect. So we have the seed type over here, and then the different varieties that I've been trying, the number of packets that I have available. So every year, instead of going through the catalogs and just ordering a bunch of stuff because I don't know what I have, or needing to go through that big, huge binder of seeds, I actually update this after I use the seeds, or a few times every year, and that way I know exactly how many I have of each variety. I put a column noting where I purchased them from so that I could go back through and find those seeds again. Now, if the columns are blank like this, there are seeds you can basically find anywhere. I buy them at Walmart a lot. When I say Walmart, that's synonymous with Home Depot. Now I have here some information about each seed, whether or not you can direct sow them, and this is going to be dependent on your climate. There are areas where you can direct sow things, and there are areas where the season's too short to direct sow them. There are actually some vegetables that don't like to be direct sowed. So when I say direct sow, I mean take those seeds and just put them straight into the garden soil. Then I have a column on whether or not they do well sown indoors. For example, tomatoes need to be sown indoors, but in pots, but beans don't like that. They need to be sowed outdoors. Then I have a number of weeks before you transplant them, and this is so I can know when to plant my seeds. So I put that in here. Now this is where there might be some mistakes, and this is where you're going to need to customize this Excel spreadsheet to your climate and to your area. So this is basically how I can plan when to plant my seeds. Now, when we go into garden planning, we're going to go over this in more detail, but I have another spreadsheet that I'm not going to show you right now because we're going to show it to you in another video. We want to keep this a little more simple. But I have another spreadsheet that is kind of a picture of my garden and the beds, and I have one for each month. And I have a list on the side of the seeds I need to plant, seeds I need to transplant, and seeds I need to put in pots indoors. A list over on each side for each month. And so that way I can keep my garden beds active all year round and I don't have to think about it too much. So in January, I start kale, spinach, and onions. And you can add to this list or subtract from this list depending on your climate and your wants and needs. You can definitely customize to what would work best for you. So hopefully that spreadsheet will help you decide which seeds to order. And just for a recap, what you need to think about before you order the seeds is, what do you like to eat? What does your family like to eat? What brings you joy? And then look at what grows well in your climate. You can look on the websites of your extension service, you could talk to nurseries, you could talk to neighbors, gardeners in your area. Then you also need to look at and see how much space you have. We're going to go over site selection in the next couple of videos and talk about how to choose a spot for your garden. But you need to kind of have in mind about how much space you're going to have. For example, you don't go purchase 20 varieties of tomatoes if you're going to grow in a single container. So think about that. Are you going to grow in a container, grow beds? Are you going to grow in ground? Do you have a lot of space or a little bit of space? Think about this space. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, definitely ask them below. If you have any suggestions for new beginning gardeners on deciding what to grow, please also put those in the comments below. And if this video has been helpful to you, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.